of very immediate concern to almost everybody is the family finances. What is going on? We've talked a bit on this programme about central banks. I've talked a bit on this programme about Andrew Bailey, or should I call him Andrew Out to Lunch Bailey, as he's known in the city. Not because he's a bon viveur, but because he never, ever seems to do his job. He certainly didn't when he was at the FCA. Liam Halligan, GBNews' economics editor. So we've had in the last 24 hours the central banks of the UK and the US upping interest rates. Would it be fair to say that in order to dampen down inflation, they should have done this a year ago?
Oh, absolutely. Central banks across the Western world, Nigel, have been calling these inflationary pressures that I've been warning about, that you've been warning about, transitory. That was the word. Anybody who didn't think inflation was transitory was some kind of heretic. But it turns out the heretics were right. These are very significant inflationary pressures. These were around before the war in Ukraine. Of course, the war in Ukraine has made them worse, pushing up the price of food and fuel. But already inflation was at a 40-year high in January before President Putin made his move. And what a contrast between the mighty Federal Reserve in America and our own Bank of England in the last 24, 36 hours. The Federal Reserve faced with big inflation. They're not talking about transitory now. Bam, 75 basis point, 0.75%, big interest rate rise, saying to financial markets, saying to American businesses, frankly, we are going to climb on top of this inflation. We are going to dampen it down. You don't need to increase all your prices along the supply chains. You don't need to bargain for much higher wages. But our own Bank of England, it seems to have let off some kind of a damp squib. Yes, interest rates went up, but even with the cover that the Federal Reserve gave them 24 hours before, they've only put up interest rates by pretty much the minimum amount, 25 basis points or 0.25%. The Bank of England badly needed to rebuild its inflation-fighting credibility today with a big interest rate rise to show that it meant business, and it failed.